and Anita Pope live and work along an ancient, well-traveled route. Gold put Iron Range on the map, but it's more important as a natural frontier, linking New Guinea and Australia. You'll not see the possum-like cuscus farther south. It's part of a remnant population, isolated when Australia and New Guinea were separated by rising seas. The flightless jungle bird, the cassowary, survived here as well. Like the others, the resplendent green python was also isolated within the peninsula. A gateway, Cape York Peninsula once linked Australia and New Guinea. The peninsula was the root of nature and perhaps early man, who arrived here thousands of years ago, following the track of animals before him.
We'll hear more from the Australian frontier when Explorer continues in a moment. Then find out why the people of India treat monkeys like gods and take off on a record-breaking round-the-world flight. It's all coming your way after this.
The following Geographic moment is brought to you by Acura, Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted performance exclusively at your Acura dealer.
With its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6 and advanced anti-lock brakes, this is the performance sedan that's making European automakers uncomfortable. But with such amenities as a leather-trimmed interior and sophisticated stereo system, there's no reason you should feel that way. The Legend sedan, precision-crafted performance from Acura.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
Hollywood Style, brought to you by KitchenAid, or the way it's made.
When faced with a difficult decorating problem, I always try to think creatively. For instance, I wanted a floral design on my walls, but I couldn't hang paintings because these doors were in the way. I didn't know what to do until I realized that the perfect solution was to simply paint on the walls. So don't be afraid to be innovative. The result could become the highlight of your home.
You don't need to see their kitchen to know they have KitchenAid. Now there's a complete line of KitchenAid premium appliances. KitchenAid, for the way it's made.
Like a lot of business people, I thought all insurance companies were the same. Believe me, there's a world of difference out there. I know, because thanks to the Hartford, we survived the kind of fire that would have wiped out most companies. But with the Hartford's people behind my business, we met payroll. We got back on our feet. So please, don't tell me all insurance companies are the same. They're not.
When you need us most, we're at our best. The Hartford.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer.
Pioneering in the peninsula is learning to use what the land provides. The mangroves along the fringes of the peninsula provide several things. At the water's edge, tiny mud skippers, air-breathing fish that walk among the roots. In the tangle of branches, flying foxes, giant fruit bats roosting by the thousands. And in the water itself, crocodiles.
Some people have got to like certain animals, right? I like crocodiles. Learned so much about them and really found that they're not such nasty creatures as people make them out to be. I mean, if you're stupid, you can get eaten, but if you use a bit of common sense, you can't.
Robbie Bredel traps saltwater crocodiles, not for their skins, but for zoos. The saltwater crocodile is protected and on the increase after a long decline from shooting. People and animals eaten by crocodiles are also on the increase.
It'll go up and make sure that string doesn't twist up, eh? Ah, beautiful. Okay. We'll give her a test out, Brian.
Robbie Bredel was among the first to trap large crocodiles alive in Australia when he and his father helped build Australia's first crocodile farm.
Yeah, that's it there. Okay, give her a go, Brian. It's on safe. There you go. That's beauty. Got me.
Trapping a crocodile is one thing. Bringing it home is another.
Well, the one that got closest to me was an 11-foot female, which we called Jock, because she ripped my jockets off me from one side of me bum. I was out trapping crocs and I'd caught this 11-foot one and two 6-foot ones. And about halfway home, there was a big sort of a sand spit. Then I grabbed the boat, towed it to shore, stepping on the odd stingray here and there, which gives you a bit of a thrill. I went down to the big one and just made sure she was secure, and she had got her mouth untied. I think when the water got on the rope on her mouth, it swelled the rope a bit, and it just slipped off. And I didn't know this, so I just sort of stood over her back, about where her back legs were, and I started to fiddle with her. Next thing that the head came up and it hit me in the left-hand side of me hip, and sort of something scraped and grabbed me jockets and pulled them down. I thought, that felt like teeth. I looked around, and there she was with her mouth open, so I sort of jumped out the boat and got a rope and tied her mouth up again. You know, so that was pretty close. Could have lost one cheek.
The destructive power of a crocodile is something few people have seen firsthand.
So the most powerful weapon the crocodile's got is his teeth and his jaws. They're tremendous power. A fairly large croc can crush a boar's skull with ease. Even smaller crocs, say 12-foot crocs, have been known to just leap out, grab the rump of a horse and take the mouthful out, because they just grab it and they just spin and use his own weight to take the piece of meat clean out. So they're very powerful in the mouth.
While large crocodiles must be trapped, smaller animals can be snared by hand with a wire noose.
Come on, get this there. The 4 to 5 foot crocodile is not dangerous in the sense that he's going to come over to eat you, because he's not big enough to do anything to you. But if you handle them, they're actually the worst size to handle, because they're just that little bit too big to really handle successfully for one man. Right? They can you can't get your hand around their neck anymore, or around their tail, so you're like this, and they got this tendency of spinning, and they can spin out of the arm. He could possibly do very, severe damage to your hand. I don't say he'd take your hand off, but he could render that hand useless.
The ambush is the croc's method of attack. It is risky to deliberately provoke a croc, but Robbie offered to try.
They only eat when they're hungry. All those people that were taken in the north here, the majority of cases involved alcohol, where the people had a little bit too much to drink, and well, the classic example was the party up at the Daintree. 4 people got a bit under the weather, they went down to the river where they probably would normally never have gone swimming, and they decided to have a midnight dip in a river where there was known to be big crocodile. And they're not forgiving.
Like the rainforest, the open woodlands have their own animal beauty, but are also empty of people. A place of magnetic termite mounds that align themselves toward the poles. Elsewhere, boulders and cliffs of blackened sandstone create a broken landscape of rock shelters and hidden caves. Before the miners came, these hills echoed to the sound of Aboriginal voices. Provoked by miners, the tribesmen ambushed the invading white men. The white men struck back, destroyed whole tribes, and scattered others. In time, the tribes were forgotten. Only their paintings remained. Then, these too were forgotten.
You see any quickens under there? No. That's where they live.
Voices and children have come back to the hills, led by the artist Percy Tresice.
You're spearing, that's right. You'll squeal lame, won't he? What's the Taramali eat? Frogs.
Percy has discovered hundreds of galleries exploring this country. He has brought back their stories and given them new life.
The big no-neck monster. Taramali, the terrible quicken that eats people.
Percy's knowledge is the strongest link between these children and the world of their ancestors, a world of fragments to their parents' generation.
And he fell to his death off Quicken Mountain just over there, didn't he? Yeah. And that's might be his wife along there too, further, Mrs. Taramali. I bet she eats people too. And up here we got old giant Wallaroo. He's the big daddy of them all. All through these rough hills, they hunted these great big wallaroos. That's how he lifts his chin when he's at bay. He holds his chin up in his big handfuls of knives and he says, "Come on, mate, I'll have a go at you." And he's as big as a man, and he's got these great big sharp claws, and he really fight. Old Narumi. Here's the banksia trees up here, see them, where the banksia men...
Old men who knew the painting tradition helped Percy interpret a vast body of art. A unique record of Aboriginal life from prehistoric times to the present century. There is a spectral quality to the land. Percy Tresice calls it Quincan country, after the mischievous spirits that appear in the paintings. The significance of the art lies in the size of the figures. They are among the largest rock art figures in the world, some 9 and 10 feet tall. To Percy, they have a powerful human meaning. They speak to him as they did to the old men who first brought him here.
This long, skinny figure here is one of the mischievous Tamara Quinkans, a female. Big bright eyes and big ears, shapes, long, skinny arms going out 15 feet from fingertip to fingertip, small breast, a short body, and tremendously long legs going right down there. She's over 9 feet tall, and she's got big stone axe bumps on her knees to give you a bang with at night time. When the old men brought me here, their enthusiasm fairly oozed out of them as they look at the figures and recognise them. Look at here, sorcery figure, upside down. She's going to be buried upside down. Runaway wife, you know. So they try and kill her by sorcery. And then here, the honey woman with the symbolic tree on top of her head, all the dots of her body representing the bees inside the hive, the yams. They know what type it was. And Ballinmore, the